their principles of thought when they don't know enough. And I hate to even be parroting some of the things that I've heard before, but they don't know enough, man. And
I know they don't know enough, but
it's sad. So this is my thing. Anytime there's an authority,
I'm putting my email in there. Send me the stuff so I can know more. You see my email?
I got you.
Okay, yes. Send them 3 artists or them 3 people you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And then you got my cell number, don't you?
I don't know.
Here you go.
Don't put it on there because we live. We're streaming. Yeah,
okay,
we're streaming right now, so I don't want you.
Okay, here you go. This is how I do it right here. This right here, I think only you gonna get it because I just put it to your name.
You put in the message. Okay.
Okay, you got that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's my cell number.
Right, never live.
Okay, and look, and Facebook, this is where I'm at right here.
Facebook's not working.
But YouTube is where you probably should be anyway. I mean, or maybe both, but definitely YouTube. I meant to ask you about that, and I'm glad you found your way there.
Facebook been acting up all day. You see right there what I put? That's where I'm at on Facebook.
I got you, man. I'm getting ready.
You know what? Do you realize Facebook would not even let me put doctor up there, whether both title or name?
That's all. And
I got it going and coming. So damn them.
Yeah, that's odd, man. That's really odd. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna lock you in right now.
All right.
Man, might have frightened some people off.
Huh?
So it might have ran some people off, man. I sent it out. Double time on via text, man. And I'm like, look, people argue with me on there, but
why don't they want to have the discourse? We had discourse here, you know. Maybe they want to put it. Don't want to.
Meryl.
What's that?
I said iron sharpen iron, Meryl.
Yeah.
But you can't bring wood to the table with iron.
Yeah.
You got, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, fortitude is not the norm in our community.
You're right.
And whether we believe it or not, fake news, whether it's left or right, fake news is fake news.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to, what's that Romans 12:2 said, be you not conformed to this world, but be you what?
I don't know.
It says transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Romans, the 12th chapter, the 2nd verse.
Okay.
You all right, Meryl?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You look mighty happy over there, sir.
No, man, just good, man. Just, you know, it's been a pretty decent day. I mean, busy, been up and down the road, but just trying to maintain. I can't quite seem to get caught up, but I'm not worried about it.
Hey, join the club, bro.
Yeah.
Join the club, sir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot you a text.
This school conversation they're having is really funny.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what school my man is at, but he's hilarious, man. They're having a conversation about all the summer stuff that's going on with Guilford County schools. And,
what's going on?
You know, just same old things going on everywhere. There's just confusion and lack of resources.
But this is the thing, Meryl. We were homogenized when we got bought and sold with a bait and switch about getting rid of integration hurt us, man. It hurt us socially and economically.
Felton and I had this conversation a little bit the other day. We were talking about it.
You know, so the point is this. First of all, when I was a little boy, America was in the top 5 in education systems in the world. Now, America is in the bottom 20. Do you realize that?
I could see that.
So either we have a severe lack of discipline or something is structurally wrong with our system of education.
Both.
Right. So now, at least if I knew Meryl was teaching my child, I know, first of all, Meryl understands my child's culture. And second of all, there's some stuff that Meryl, knowing our culture, is not going to put up with my child.
Yeah, or I'm gonna know how to.
Right.
I'm gonna give some social grace to the child and the parents. That's just not what we have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
we grew up in a different time.
Blame somebody else's culture, but can we blame other people's culture for not understanding our culture, or do we have to take, like I was talking to Felton before you came back? How can you out? I don't agree with everything any politician does, Democrat or Republican. My point is, accountability begins and ends with the man in the mirror.
Maybe.
What the word says, how can you hate your brother how can you hate your brother? How can you love God who you have never seen and hate your brother who you see every day? My point is this.
Yeah.
How are we going to criticize somebody on the other side of the aisle? We've got people looking like us that sell us out every day and we refuse to hold them accountable.
I think you can do both.
There's a lack of leverage, a significant lack of leverage. So, and then it's cool. I'm glad that you're able to cite the Bible the way you are. I mean, that is wonderful. But the Bible was used to justify slavery. Like, man.
Well, we can do this. Here you go, bro. You want me to do it with the Quran?
No,
you want me to do it with the Torah?
No, none of that is gonna matter in terms of our discussion. I'm just saying, like, you can use religiosity to do a lot of things.
Okay, this is my point. How can you hold your adversary accountable when you refuse to hold your brother accountable for the same atrocity?
What are you speaking about from terms of when a person that looks like us or a specific African American man stands in office?
I'm talking about African Americans, pluralistic, whether you are in office or not. I'm talking about leadership.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. I served on St. Agnes's board for 3 years. Are you familiar with the historical relevance of St. Agnes?
I think you mentioned it before. It's a college, right?
St. Agnes is the college, but St. Augustine's College was the only Black hospital between Atlanta, Georgia, and Maryland. Okay, the boxer Jack Johnson died there. The heavyweight champion died there because they refused to give him admission to Rex Hospital.
Where is this at?
It's on the campus of St. Augustine's College.
That's in Raleigh, though. Right?
It's in Raleigh. Yeah. So now let me ask you this.
So that church is in. So that St. Agnes Church is on the campus of St. Augustine.
St. Agnes Hospital is on the campus of St. Aug University, and it's a shell of what it used to be.
Okay.
But this is my point. It was not white people who sterilized Black people, who literally cut off the testicles of Black men and sterilized Black women for not knowing how to read. Okay? So I cannot point the finger at white people because they didn't come in the neighborhood and sterilize Black people. Black people sterilized Black people. Okay?
I don't think people are pointing the finger at white people. It's this idea of whiteness. I think because it's the differentiation of interpersonal versus institutional.
You're missing my point now.
No, I think I am hitting it because I don't think people, I do know people focus on individual symbols. So you got a Trump or a David Duke or Bush, or whoever it is. I know that's the flashpoint for people to kind of there's always a boogeyman.
But you're missing my point.
That political parties point to, but I don't think you can get to a place to where you say, I can't complain about these systems because some Black folks that look like me and had the same skin color did something. Because we don't
agree with you.
Powers. That argument will never hold any weight with me.
But no, that last statement you said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. You can attack the system versus the individual.
Yeah.
My point is regarding the system is the same way Black people can be mad about Silent Sam and the car building.
Some Black people.
It's not the same, Doc. It's not the same. So you just gave an example of something that you are.
My point is, how you going to? Okay, so you advocate hypocrisy.
Hold on.
Do you advocate hypocrisy?
You just gave an example of something that you have intimate ties to, and it's very subjective. Not everybody is aware or knows about what you're speaking of, but everybody can agree in some sentiment of the irregularities that are associated with Confederate monuments and things of that nature. But there are those that are Black that would tell you that monument ain't bothering nobody and leave it right there.
Yep.
So
I'm one of
we're
them.
not a monolith.
I'm one of them. It ain't
Yeah,
bothering me either.
we're not a monolith. That wasn't. I was just giving an example.
Yeah,
but
you're talking about segments of Black people like in your purview that you're around, which is different than the diaspora.
Meryl, okay, I wish for now on I'm gonna start doing Survey Monkey. Okay, because Meryl, with respect to you, I think I might be 8 years older than you.
Probably, yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah, a little
so
bit.
it's no disrespect. It's just I'm just communicating. I've been a trustee of the First Baptist, Meryl.
Yeah,
You know how First
Yeah,
Baptist churches operate.
I know.
But since 2002, I have had the chance to see some diversified opinions, wouldn't you suggest?
Probably so.
So my point is this: if we don't hold
There's
the
a lot
man
of
in the
wealth
way-
in that church, though. So that those opinions, there's a lot of that's influenced by wealth and alignment to capitalism. So there's some wealthy people in that church that don't look like the people that lead the church that I belong to.
Okay. Me and you are partners because we have a similar belief system. I don't let my belief get caught up in Democrat or Republican,
Me either.
you know. So all I'm saying, bro, is when does Black people address the Black hypocrisy? That's my point. Let's just cut to the chase.
So your comment, observation, and of that particular thing is so broad, man. I mean, there's so many instances.
Hypocrisy is broad.
His Black hypocrisy. So
Black anything is
yeah.
just
So I mean, there's not one way to really frame that argument, and it can't be a standalone issue. I know it is for you, but everything that you're saying sounds personal and like you have that in your purview all the time. I understand your sentiment, but I'm not in your shoes and I don't see what you see. So once you step outside of that subjective perspective, then you're gonna have to let go of it just being a broad understanding based on your perspective, your view. I mean, there's been sellouts and there's been people that have been hypocrites since we've been here. Go ahead.
Should I make it pluralistic?
Let's up to you.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, here you go. Housing. Something as simple as housing, bro. Low income housing, where you fit in the 25, when you fit in the 25 to 30%, or 25 to 50% AMI, area median income.
Mm-hmm.
The area median income in Raleigh, North Carolina is $76,000 a year. If you make half that much, where you at? Half of 76. Half of 70 is 35. And then, so that's like $38,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? And that's at 50% area median income. Now, you are a politician or a leader in our community, and African Americans it doesn't matter what your socioeconomic class is, you contribute 20% to the tax base, but you only get less than 1.5% back in community development tax dollars to build, own, or rent, lease, and manage the same affordable housing for the past 20 years. When you point that out to our leadership by showing them the North Carolina General Statute, to where the law itself, as plain as the speed limit, is irrefutable, and they look at it and know the law for what it is and refuse to do nothing. Now speak to me on that, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Name who that leadership is, because it's still a very
okay. Here you go.
I'll
give you a common example.
Yeah, put some names on it.
Okay, I'm gonna put a name on it.
Put a name on it.
The North Carolina Department of Administration is being run by a sister called Michelle Sanders, I believe. She's the secretary of the North Carolina Department of Administration. She reports directly to Governor Cooper.
The sentiments that are spoken today are not necessarily the opinions of NC 100.
Oh, so is this? Are we
just throw that out there.
Are we on live?
We're live, but I mean, I just want to make sure.
Okay,
Like,
here we go.
I don't know the system. I'm
Here we
saying
go.
this you talking
You
about.
didn't tell me we were live, but now that I know,
We on
but
YouTube. We on YouTube, bro.
okay, I didn't know that. Let me suggest this. We have people in our community who have been given fiduciary responsibility over such things like diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
And we
County
have
government.
roles, right? We have roles and responsibilities in which to execute. And we, like the gentleman said earlier, we willfully are not. So now, if you cannot do your job because of some particular reason, then why don't you be forthright and say, hey, I can't do my job because of X, Y, and Z? Because help me understand. Help me understand, Mr.
There's no
Holloway.
incentive to do it any differently, though, right?
Right. So the point is, if my grandmother made a mistake and my mother made a mistake, and I love them very much, but I realized that their leadership style was flawed for whatever reason, then why should we inherit, as much as we love them, why should we inherit the mistakes of a previous generation? At what point do you reconcile, atone, and then make changes for the future such that your children don't inherit the same mindset that you realized that was a mistake? My point is simple. African Americans, stop scapegoating white liberals, white Republicans, anybody else until you take a sincere look at the man in the mirror and gain some accountability. You know, the first step to break an addiction is to confess and to admit that you have a problem.
Yeah.
Something that you seem to something you keep skipping over is there's a significant lack of representation at the levels you want held accountable. So for
at the grassroots.
I mean, that's fine. We've been at the grassroots, but what comes with getting to elected office is a lot of times representation, people knowing you, and capital. And Black folks lack capital. I mean, that's the bottom line. So, I mean, I don't, we're jumping ahead to some form of responsibility that only a few people take. And I love the fact that you're passionate about people being held accountable when they ascend to those offices. But the fact of the matter is, there's not enough of us in those offices. You're gonna always have a couple bad apples. And then when you get somebody that does ascend to those offices, what are they doing? They're turning that into a legacy, right? You get somebody that ascends to that office, the nepotism is on 10, and the maintaining of their position is the main principle in their actions. Yeah. So they're gonna be fluid. That spine thing you were talking about, it's gonna be a lot of jelly in it because they're gonna be like, hey, what do I need to do to make sure I maintain this position?
Can I ask you a question?
All the time.
Okay. What do you think the percentage breakdown is between, as far as GDP, in terms of industry and government?
This industry is winning right now. I mean, we've allowed for that to happen.
I'm saying when you take all the industries in the United States and you look at their combined budget or their combined revenue and you compare them to the United States, this is my point.
I just said, yeah, industries are winning right now. That's something we set up to happen.
Right. So why should we as a people put all of our reliance on government?
We don't.
We've
never been allowed to.
See, that's what I'm saying. You said never been allowed to. Who's allowing you if you're a free man?
Where do you live, man? You live in a country that has rules and regulations and a governing body that is supposed to represent you. Now, there was a time when the government put their hands on everything and it saved the country because the effective government during the time of FDR and when we were recovering from the Great Depression saved this country. Now, a lot of racism inside of it. Black folks did not benefit from those programs as much as they should have. And it's sad. So we can definitely make sure that that's understood in what I'm saying. But effective government, effective representation is what we desire. Effective.
I agree. But let's go back to accountability. Okay. If I make a mistake and you love me, you're going to hold me accountable.
Love ain't got nothing to do with it, man. I'm sorry to cut you off. You know love ain't got nothing to do with it. It's business, man.
Okay, well, let's
you make a mistake, you're supposed to get kicked out of office. You're supposed to get somebody else supposed to take your place that's not gonna make your mistakes.
How are we holding our community leadership? Well, how can you have a moral leg to stand on to criticize the opposition when you got leaks at home? It seemed to me the priority is to address your household and your community and do what you can do to get your house in order before you reaching from Reidsville to DC to talk about somebody else's house.
So you think those are just mutually exclusive? So
No, I'm not, Mr. Holloway, I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive. I'm saying there's a level of prioritization, okay?
yeah,
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't do both in parallel.
yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
We're talking to the young people now about like how important it is to like not be so focused on the federal election and like really be paying attention like these local elections. Like
Down ballot voting.
Yeah. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Vote
All I'm
where
saying
you
is-
affected the most. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all I'm saying, fellas, gentlemen, it's simple. Yes, we have all, none of us are perfect. But if you and I are on the same team and we run in the same place and you want me to be an effective member of the team, you're going to offer me some type of constructive criticism. After you've offered me the constructive criticism, if I don't follow suit, you're going to recommend to the coach as a player that I sit on the bench or be kicked off the team. Okay, that's just coming from us being on the same team. So I'm not talking about our adversarial team. I'm talking about our team. I'm talking about the home team. And if we cannot look at the home team, you know, have you ever done a SWOT analysis? The SWOT analysis is 4 components. These are our strengths, these are our weaknesses, these are our opportunities, and these are our threats. Here is the goal of a SWOT analysis. The goal of a SWOT analysis is to promote your strength and to get rid of your weaknesses. If you have weaknesses, there's only 3 ways to deal with a weakness. A, cut it off, stop doing it. B, outsource it to a professional who can handle it for you. Or C, learn it yourself and hire from within. Now, the challenge of doing C is sometimes the time opportunity horizon does not give you enough time to learn what you need to do to cover your weakness. So I need to create an alliance with Mr. Holloway because Mr. Holloway's strength represents where I am weak. And if I trust Mr. Holloway and Mr. Holloway trusts me, then as long as I give you as long as I'm the assist guy and you can score as much as I want to hit that 3 and hit the shot, but if I see that you are wide open, then I need to reduce my pride and I need to do an assist. I need to pass you the ball and then trust that Mr. Holloway knows how to go to the hole and score. And if you missed, my job is to be there to catch the rebound.
Now apply that same thing you're talking about as a business construct to I'm 17 years old, I'm a student. And I mean, like, how does that apply to like, you know, I'm not on this business tip. How does that look in like community building and stuff like that? That's the part that, you know, that, like, how does that work?
You know, I have
somebody's weakness. Like, I'm somebody's weakness.
This is how it works
in my neighborhood.
Neighborhood.
I'm just in the neighborhood.
I'm just in the neighborhood. This is how that works. I got a report card. I got some A's on some things, some B's on some things, a D or something on some things. I know I'm not proud that I got a D on my report card.
Oh, I don't care. What if I don't care? What if I've been disengaged since 3rd grade?
Well, there you go. That's why it takes a village to raise a community.
What if you don't have a village?
But you have the village. One of the things I've seen you do, and I salute you and NC 100 and other organizations, I've seen you reach out to the youth.
I'm privileged though, Doc. See, I'm privileged because I grew up. My dad and my parents like instilled certain things in me, and I have a certain discipline. I'm talking about the kid that's been disengaged, dad for whatever reason not in the house, all the stuff. Like like
so
all
where do you start
has impacted the kid. I can't.
There's only one place to start, Mr. Holloway.
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere. And what I'm saying is we can't, in the beginning, you can't be all things to all people.
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere.
I'm talking about Pookie. I'm talking about Pookie right now. That's 17 years old, been disengaged. I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing to live for. And like, now, how am I gonna fix that?
Well, here you go. The first way you can fix it with Pookie is, if Pookie can't relate to me, and I know somebody that Pookie can relate to, then we need to be proactive and take it upon ourselves to introduce Pookie to somebody he can relate to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a testimony if you haven't been tested. All I'm simply saying,
But
Mr.
you see
Merrill,
how Pookie just can't look at the mirror and just like look at man in the mirror and look at the mirror and be like, I'll make a change. He can't do it by himself, man.
Yeah, but that's why it takes a village to raise a child, Mr. Merrill.
Yeah.
Mr. Holloway.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying that it's a pluralistic accountability. I'm not putting accountability on Pookie by himself.
Yeah.
But if you happen to see Pookie and you know Pookie and you know somebody and you were privileged and you did have a blessing, but in your heart you have the compassion and the discipline and the commitment to Pookie, then when Pookie meets you, he gonna look you in the eyes and you know what he gonna say? He gonna say, Mr. Holloway is real. Mr. Holloway keeps it 100. And when I know, no matter what my testimony is, whether it's good or bad, when I look Mr. Merrill Holloway in the face and I know that he's an authentic,
yeah,
in terms of his mission and his purpose,
that's me.
That is gonna help soften my hardened heart, because it's very rare that I have the opportunity to run into an authentic gentleman like Mr. Merrill Holloway, who stands for quality.
Yeah. But what's required after that, though, is sustainability. If you don't sustain that presence, then what happens?
Right.
Then they become even more disillusioned because they've had a glimpse of something that they can't have all the time.
100%. I can't help. I can't sustain that. Like I can't. Systems have to change to where you be able to sustain that. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I mean, like there are people in positions where they should be like accountability, thinking about all those things. But there's just like a large.
We have two roads we can take.
Yeah.
The problem road or the solution road.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to these two roads, you can either choose the solution road or the problem road. Which one do you want?
If I know better, I'm going to choose the solution road.
So our encouragement to our community, whether it's an individual basis, a family basis, or a corporate basis, is to spend more energy, individually or corporately, on solutions for Pookie than we do talking about Pookie's problem.
Totally believe it. And yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a hard road to toe. And I'm blaming people in power because it's so hard. We got some late comers.
We got somebody showing up.
Dropped out.
Just jumped out.
And some late comers.
I thought I sent out the wrong thing for a minute. I'm kind of surprised. I said I thought I sent out the wrong thing for a minute. I'm kind of surprised.
I am too. I mean, last week was weird because we had the storms.
Yeah.
This week is just weird. I don't know. I think. I don't know. It's really interesting. It's like Angelica leaves, nobody want to come to our stuff no more, man.
Yeah, it seemed like that was part of the thing, the promotion. I was sending stuff, singling out text, but the promotion, I guess, has got to be a little bit more consistent because she did an awesome job. I hate that we couldn't maintain.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be able to do some stuff for us in the future. She had to look at her school schedule, and then we're gonna bring on. I got to do some outreach and stuff because we need an outreach in grant writer. So
and I actually thought that some of the people you mentioned tonight might, when you said the other day, some of the parents and blah blah blah. Yeah, I thought, but I sent it out, man, because I had some stuff I wanted to discuss, but.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just like things are going on too, because I think people are starting to get back in. They're worried about school and stuff. I mean, portion this thing with the YMCA, I know there's a good 50, 60 people that were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there, because like there's some really good information. But the only people that are there are the people that are speaking.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things,
Yeah, and that's what when I seen the participants, I was like, most of them people look like they actually maybe three, maybe one was a parent, but I didn't even know if she was.
I like the idea too of having some stuff is just like, hey, this is some stuff that we want recorded and put it out there for the masses, and maybe YouTube. This might be a good idea to start thinking about.
Yeah, I think YouTube's a wonderful option. And if it's done correctly, which is not my strong suit, but if it's, you know, on there in the right way, I think that's a good place to get some exposure.
See if I can do that. See if there's a way for me to because I got 2 computers. I wonder if I can figure out a way to stream on both.
Yeah.
Right now, Zoom just lets you pick 1 or 2. Now I think you just pick 1.
Yeah, I think that's the
copy streaming link. I wonder what that does.
So it might be a bandwidth.
I can drop that on Facebook and then people can stream from there. Oh, that's dope. Let me try that real quick.
Might be a bandwidth thing.
Sorry about that. I got cut off. I left the office. I'm on the road.
Good.
It's all good, bro.
Is it raining where you are?
Yeah, well, it was.
It is now. It's just starting.
But now on, Mr. Holloway, I know that we're on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. The reality is, truth is truth. And in terms of our leadership, my point is simple. No matter who the leadership is, we have to hold our leadership accountable for the people we vote for and the people we put in office. Because if we don't hold them accountable, we don't have the right, the moral, in my opinion. You know, even when somebody else gets in office, they still your president, whether you agree with the current president or not. He's still the president of the United States. He's still the president. So, you know, maybe you didn't vote for him, but doesn't mean we have to dishonor a person, but we can hold them accountable if that's what you're talking about, Mr. Merrill, about being able to do both.
The accountability comes in election season, Doc. I mean, that's the only way that we are as a citizenry of this country, you know, supposed to be galvanized and have the fortitude to either remove somebody by voting them out or to hold them accountable and make them check that box or pass that bill or legislation that you that's so near and dear to your community and whoever you purport to represent. But it's not something that we can just put to one group of people or another and be absolute in our conviction that it's them that are failing us. There's a lot of mechanisms at play before you even get to that level of accountability. But election season is what's supposed to give that to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you know, let me ask you a question. At what point does sugarcoating or failing to keep it real become either a conflict of interest or B, a disservice to our community?
At the point it begins, point of origin.
Okay, so now, what's the solution in your opinion?
I mean, we have look, man. Politics is politics. So there is no clear and ongoing and forever solution.
I'm not asking for clear. I'm asking for your opinion, sir.
You just cut me off to say that, and I was giving you what you asked for. Come on, man. So
I apologize.
We better than that, man.
Okay, go ahead.
So no politician, even your most favorite one, lasts forever, right? They get old and they eventually die or whatever the case. So we as the founding document of our great country is supposed to have done, establish these principles that guide us. That's why every politician and every civil servant is supposed to be beholden to that document, the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are supposed to take precedence over any particular leadership. However, just, you know, everything is flawed. I mean, this document was written while there were millions of people enslaved. So, I mean, I hope that kind of answers your question, but there's no sustained person or entity that's going to just make everything work out where there's a high level of accountability.
Let me ask you this, and maybe I need some understanding. The purpose of today's call or this conversation, is it just open discussion, or do we have any clear outcomes or solutions that we want to leave our audience with, whether it's Pookie or your minister or the local business owner? What type of outcomes are we looking for as you close up this conversation in the next 15 minutes or so?
I think for one, just to start at the end, I think we'll just go for a little bit longer than we normally would. For one thing, there was an agenda. Unfortunately, we didn't have the number of people attend that we thought we would, and that's primarily based on the weather for one thing. Other things being afoot as in terms of school starting back and things of that nature. So there's a whole nother conversation taking place right now that I just left from that was all about Guilford County school system. So those things aside, we never mind just having conversations as long as they're edifying and productive, Doc. So to know what we were planning on discussing tonight, it was going to be centered on Joe Biden's selection of Kamala Harris as a vice president running mate, his running mate, but also the energy that was placed behind him having to pick a Black female for that role.
Right.
That was what the topic of discussion was going to be. But it still can be. If you have thoughts on it, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Do you think that's where the vitriol is from the mandate, or like he just kind of came out and was like, I'm gonna pick a Black female? No, he said he was gonna pick a female. He didn't say he was gonna pick Black, or did he say both? He said both.
I feel like he said Black female early, or not too long after he solidified the Democratic Party.
No, he just said female.
He just said.
Oh, did he?
Okay.
I thought I heard him say Black.
Because I just can't understand where all the hate is from. I mean, like, it's just like mad hate. I mean, like, and maybe that's where it's from. It's just like because he said he's gonna pick a woman. And
but Merrill, let me ask you this.
I don't get that hate. No.
Help about with that hate, though.
Mr. Holloway.
Hold on a second. I want to hear what was Player saying. Hold on a second.
What'd you say, man? Pete.
Sorry, I was telling you to help him out with that hate. Let him know what the vitriol was all about.
Yeah, what's that hate?
As far as his selection?
Yes.
Yeah, what's the hate about? So what's the hate about? What do you think? Where do you think the hate comes from? Because I mean, like, it's just like because it really is. I can't quite understand like it's just so much anger from groups of people about her selection.
Mr. Holloway.
So you're speaking specifically about Kamala at this point?
Yeah, for Kamala.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that.
Has to say first, and then you come in.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. So so she failed in the Democratic nomination for president miserably, I would even say, to the point that she didn't progress far enough to even warrant being revisited for this role. So you have in her and reflected in Joe Biden this law and order celebration of law and order that they seem to have walked in throughout their political careers, but now that's being turned down and tuned off to make them appear to be more liberal and more progressive than they actually are. So that's some of the hate that you're getting because she was a prosecutor in California. But, you know, the so-called elephant in the room would also be that he picked a woman of color as opposed to a Black American, I love the term, descendant of slavery, Black American woman.
Right.
And check that box with someone whose lineage is Jamaican and Indian, and she's cloaked herself in some forms of Blackness in terms of culture and what she purports herself to be publicly in some settings, but there's a lot of discontent.
She's a Black woman, though. Excuse me.
She Black.
She Black, bro.
Who said she wasn't? Did y'all not hear me? She's Black.
You said she cloaked herself.
She cloaked herself in Black Americanness. Is that clear? She totally did. No, she grew up in Canada. She grew up in Canada.
No, she grew up in Oakland. She went to high school in Canada.
She went to high school, but that's growing up, ain't it, Meryl? Ain't that a part of growing up? Ain't
I mean,
high school is what you call your
0 to
formative.
14. So we
High school, that's your
from-
formative years. Those are your
But-
formative years.
What about 0 to 14, and then
Those are your formative years.
But what about
he
18 to
has
how
a point.
old
He
she
has
is
a point.
now?
Those
Kobe-
are her
Kobe's not
formative
American
years. What you
either.
want me to
Or-
say? Those
Yeah,
are her
LeBron's not
formative
American
years.
either. You're right.
I don't know about that one, Felder. I can't ride with you on that
What?
one.
You don't have to, but I mean it's facts. So she's.
The formative thing is not a fact. It is an opinion.
I'm sorry.
The
What?
formative years aren't your high school years. I don't agree with that.
When did? Let me ask you this question, then, and it's cool if we make this a part of the conversation and point of contention. I'm fine with that. When do you feel like you became Meryl?
From 22 to 30.
So your formative years when you were formulating who Meryl was were probably around the time of high school and just beyond. So
No.
your high school experience had nothing to do with you becoming
Not
who you
one
are.
bit. Not one bit.
That's sad, brother.
Not one
You
bit.
might need to revisit some of your
Those 4 years,
uh
they're just 4 years. They're 4 years in that were no different than 13 through 7 when I was 10 to 14. I mean,
that's different. But none of that's my whole perspective. Do you know anybody else who went to high school in Canada? Doubt it. So my whole point is,
I mean, I went to a big school. I do.
you know, people that went to high school in Canada. Well, I ain't talking about UNC. I'm just talking about all right. Let's say from that formative time of your life, the time that she
Whenever
spent,
that is.
the time that she spent in Canada. Do you know anybody that spent that time in Canada?
Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
You know, you know.
I don't know him, but
Anyway, my point is there's an experience that attaches you to what can be perceived to be an African American, an ADOS, or a Black American life and experience, and it's not going to high school in Canada, and that's a part that she's lacking. But Black, yes, I mean,
you don't
shoot,
count
man.
but what about the 14 years of living in Oakland?
Going home to her mother who was not Black. So this is my whole thing, man. Let me say this first and foremost, and really get clear.
One question, Phil, is, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm dead serious. Is Kamala, Camilla, is she more Black than Kobe Bryant, or is Kobe Bryant more
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Because it's like the roles are reversed. Kobe went to high school here, but his formative years, you know,
he over in Spain somewhere, all right? Spain?
Yeah.
Italy.
Was it Italy?
Italy. Yeah. I think it might be Italy, Spain. He spent a lot of time abroad and overseas in a lot of different places. But you're right. I think it was definitely Italy. He spoke a lot of languages and things.
He speaks both.
So there are two ways to answer that question.
Okay.
So there's the clear and concise and just what were his parents? His parents were Black Americans, as far as I know, both of them. What was his dad's job? His dad's job was one that took him other places.
Correct.
So that muddies that argument in terms of lineage. Yes, he's African American Black. That if we just start with lineage, she's Jamaican and Indian. So upbringing aside, the thing that you can really throw at me about Kobe is that he didn't go to Howard. She went to Howard, man. So,
Yep.
So she had a she was listening to Snoop Dogg and them as she was smoking weed, but she also
She didn't say that. She didn't say that.
She also locked up. She said something like that. Close enough.
Close enough.
Semantics. No, I really don't. I doubt that highly. So we can pull up the clip. She said something like that. Oh, she made a motion like she would.
She used to listen to Snoop and Tupac, but she didn't say it at the same time. I think you felt like she was telling a lie. But anyway.
I'm not caught up on that. I mean, not at all.
I know,
man.
that's what I'm saying. We're not going to deep dive with that. No doubt. But listen.
Purely joke.
No doubt. But do you think she is do you consider her Black American? A Black American?
No.
We know
so in terms, listen, man, in terms of what I am speaking of about lineage, absolutely not. She can't be. Her parents are immigrants.
Agreed.
Parents are immigrants. Period. Point blank. There's no reason to get upset and argue. And I'm gonna talk about you, but I'm just saying there's no reason. You get flack for stating facts these days.
Yes.
It's just the same as when our current guy says fake news. These people jump on you for stating facts about somebody. Those are facts. Does
Agreed.
not mean that she can't be the best politician and greatest thing ever. I've told anybody that will listen, I don't care if you black, blue, green, Arctic white. What are you talking about? And I
Yeah.
have yet to hear any one of these candidates speak specifically about issues in the black community. There's a both and when it comes to black people. And I'm talking about black Americans. There's everything when it comes to us. You let us remove ourselves from any other conversation, we get all kind of flack. But what about ism? What about this group? What about that group? What about this group? But AOC, Alexandria Cortez, can speak her piece about Latinx, this, and it's all this and that. And you got every right to speak specifically about what those people need. But when black folks do it, it's all and. We got to be all inclusive. And I'm tired of that sentiment. It's been going on way too long. No, she's not black American.
I would argue that she speaks specifically about, I mean, not enough because of she's scared. I mean, a lot of folks who identify as black are scared to speak. But there are
stop making excuses for them too, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not making excuses for her. I'm saying I'm hoping that she'll take that charge. I mean, she specifically called, Joe Biden out when she was running for president about some policies and stuff.
How true was that, or how much for show was it?
I don't know.
How much does it show her to be a do anything, say anything politician? That she's
all of them are.
A lot of them are. You're absolutely right about that.
Barack Obama was one of the worst people talking about race I've ever heard in my life.
Absolutely. You're not gonna get an argument from you there.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
so that's a commingling. That's a commingling of her experiences that, true or not, she's over sensationalized, in my opinion, just to get a moment. As a matter of fact, I want to say she stepped on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, P. You might know better than me. She stepped on the beginnings of a conversation about reparations when she did that during that same.
I don't remember exactly, but I think I remember we spoke on that, and I don't remember exactly, but
yeah, I think she interrupted. She interrupted to share her personal story.
Elizabeth Warren.
No, this was who was it?
I'm saying, was it Elizabeth Warren that was speaking about reparations?
No, that's what I'm saying. It was the other lady, I believe.
Toasty?
Was it?
Oh man,
it was the crazy one, right?
She's not crazy, man.
Yeah. No, the crazy one. No, the crazy one. Mary Ann something.
Yeah, but she wasn't crazy. She's not crazy. She's just very spiritual, man. She's just very spiritual, man. Hey, man, it's America, man. You can believe what you want to believe. Right. Positive thinking, man. So anyway, yeah, she said it. Mary Ann Williams.
Hey, let me say this.
Probably pills though, Mary. Probably pills.
Let me say this though. You guys want a politician on a national level to speak to a certain group of folk. And we know it's been done before, mainly the white folk. And we can say that this president now, that's what he does in this little coded language. But it's always something when you're a minority and you are trying to have the ear of the room where you have to speak to all Americans. It's easy for, I guarantee you when, what's her name? AOC decide to ever run for, let's just say, a senator of New York. I don't know if it'll work out the same way for her.
It won't.
I don't think it will. It's just the way it is. I mean, what felt in a lot of what you speak of, not just you, but because I think we all agree on a lot of things, especially the plight of Black folk, AUS to be exact. But it's going to have to start at a grassroots level, not at the top and then trickle down.
What do you? I mean, that is an absolute fact, and I think that's the way it's started right now. Anyway, I'm sorry, I missed something in your point. What did you mean about her running it in New York? What did you mean by that?
Well, I just don't think she can run statewide in New York. She can say what she wants to say in her little district. Her congressional district, she can be, just the same way.
Who are we talking about? AOC?
Right.
AOC. She can never.
AOC. Yes.
Yeah, none of that. But what is she doing? Listen. So I'm sorry. I brought her up primarily because on a national platform, she speaks specifically to what her community. She speaks specifically for Latinx or Latino.
Because she's a congresswoman. Because she's a congresswoman. That's the point I'm making. She can speak that way because she's a congresswoman.
100%.
Man, name me a senator. Not the only one. She's not the only one that speaks that way.
Name me a senator that speaks.
You can't run for Senate talking like that. Nope.
Huh?
the people in White Plains, they don't want to hear that. So she can't run for senator talking the way that she talks as a representative, because the representative, she's got a very small group of people that put her in office.
Yeah. And I think that's why Phil don't like politics. You want to just tell facts and let the truth be told, but that's the ugly side of politics, man. It's just, it is what it is.
I got no problem with you having to gain support from whoever you're representing. What I'm missing here is the fact that she speaks specifically on a national platform, and regardless of what her elected office is, now she continues to speak as such. So my argument would be that there was a specificity in some of Obama's conversations with the Black community to get those votes.
Yeah.
There was more of an understanding mentality to get those votes.
Yeah.
But once you get in office, you don't have to talk about it the same anymore. However, AOC can talk with that same energy on a national platform.
Yeah,
she uses her platform the way that a politician who's trying to meet the needs of her.
You're equating the president of the United States to.
I'm not equating anything. I'm talking about people who get platforms. I'm not equating anything. So I'm talking about people who get national platforms.
And she's gonna get a national platform because they love to paint her in the crazy lane. Like hard left, same way they put hard right people on. You know what I'm saying?
She's consistent. I appreciate that.
Yeah, she is.
I appreciate that.
You're 100%. You're 100% correct.
The inconsistency is with the person I was mentioning, is with the more on the subjective side than what they actually attained in there.
And the closest thing to her inconsistency would be Elizabeth Warren. Could you tell me another Democrat or Republican, just mainly Democrat, that's consistent on the phone back? That's consistent and this, like, in the manner of AOC, as far as just like, I don't want to say hard left, but just however you want to chop it up, as far as like consistently gives her message out.
Bernie, I mean, he's exhaustingly consistent.
No, I think what you're trying to say is, like, is there another person who is not white that on a national platform about their plight?
Well, we're not. So first off, you're right about that. There's a limited number of people to choose from in that, right? So how awesome is she that she does that? When you have a representative, what are they, the squad? You have someone like Miss Presley who gets to that office, but she's seemingly, and I actually like her, but she's seemingly more interested in immigrant and DACA stuff. And there's a whole Congressional Black Caucus that exists that is more interested in things that are outside of Black issues and Black needs. They would talk about DACA and talk about immigration and children at the border before they talk about children in the ghetto.
Yeah, I guess I have to look into that with Presley, but that could be true.
Yeah, I was gonna say Booker, but you'll be exactly right as far as to name him in that same vein. Yeah. But let me say this: I think what they're trying to do is lock down the long game, but we got a politic for now also. So you can do something.
I appreciate that comment, Pete, because part of my discussion tonight was going to be centered on this could potentially be the last time that the Black vote means anything, because that long game is what they're trying to lock down. There's a strong sentiment to be all in when it comes to us, and just be happy that somebody looks like you is in that position, or you're voting for somebody that could be your neighbor, but actually would never be your neighbor. I had a whole bunch of stuff to discuss, and we're missing the presence of women, because one of the things I wanted to ask was with the sensationalism and you must vote and you must back Biden and Harris, and this is another historic moment. He overlooked a number of Black women who are not just Black women; they're actually Black American women, ADOS women, and what have you, to select this woman that is representative of more than just that. And to me, if she had any sincere, I don't want to say for her to lack it, but to not be as aspirational as she appears to be, which is one of the things that they're arguing about in terms of her just being wanting too much at any cost. But what I'm saying inside of that is, she could easily decline, and we would get the same symbolism and sensationalism with an actual ADOS Black American woman, and there were a number to choose from, and ones that she could definitely back. Is that not the same? So what I was going to ask, if we had the presence of more Black women, was
only Val. I can only think of Val Demings that I think.
No, you had a couple of them. I got my notes. Let me pull them
What you
up.
think? Yeah, give me some names.
Yeah, I'll give you quite a few.
Rice.
Don't tell me the mayor of Atlanta.
Why not? I mean, I'm just saying she was a name. I'm not arguing any of these names, P. I'm just giving the names. I don't have an argument.
Don't you think? I mean, like, how would she turn that down, right? So she gets
no. You fight for that, Merrill. Yeah. You don't. You. So what I'm saying is, it don't even have to get to the point of her turning it down if she is of a moral positioning that is about the elevation of all women and all this and all that. If there's an inclusiveness, then the first representatives should probably be people who've been here for 400 years, and though to get those boxes checked off that they say are so critically important. She's like a first generation immigrant, man. And she's been chosen to be a running mate she's been chosen to be the vice president if the Democratic Party. Real quick. I just want to get these names off.
Yeah, I want to hit these names.
Yeah, I just want to get these names off because I don't want to leave.
All right.
Let me find them. I got them right here somewhere. Val Demings, of course, was one. Susan Rice, Stacey Abrams, Karen Bass, and throw in Michelle Obama. So yeah, he had options, and she had options to back and support. Yet, one of my main thoughts and ideas, and Marsha, I'm glad you're here. I did want a woman's perspective on this, and I hope you can hear me. There's a long line and lineage of Black women in this country, Black American women to be specific, since I have to do that now. Black American women that have existed in this country and land and for a number of years, and have taken care of things that no other people have taken care of in terms of white babies and all kind of and dealt with a lot of stuff, man. Black women have dealt with, I don't know what, love them. Black American women. How do some of these women just run blindly in support of someone who has none of that lineage, none of that experience, none of that hardship and despair, and prop them up as if they are them when they are not at all, even close to them? So that's something that bothers me. And Marsha, you're gonna have to unmute yourself, and I'm almost finished now because I know you got plenty to say. So you're gonna have to unmute yourself. Hold on, right there. I want to hear you. But this fragile thing that is American democracy has never had in the highest levels of representation and a full ADOS American, a full Black American, even though we've been here longer than a lot of those that have ascended to those offices. And just as an example, I'll say this, and I'm going to let you please respond, Marsha, before we be on here till midnight. There is a documentary, Not Your Negro, that was about James Baldwin, and one of the most eloquent, beautiful things he said, and I'm definitely gonna not quote it exactly, so I'm paraphrasing. He was having a conversation with Robert Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy said something along the lines to him that, hey, y'all just keep doing things the same way you're doing them in terms of the civil rights movement, and in 30, 40 years, we'll have our first Negro president. And James Baldwin said, we've been here since the beginning of this. You, an Irish Catholic, just got here 60, 70 years ago. Your brother's already been president, or is president. Think about that. Now, what did those people have? They had whiteness, and we know clearly what this country is about in terms of race. She does not. Yet she leapfrogs generations and generations of people that have been here and have never ascended to those offices to receive proper representation, or even if it's not proper, just any kind of representation. She leapfrogged all of them. It's disheartening, and I don't know how people can guilt somebody who thinks about that, or who says something about that. And I've gotten a lot of guilt.
You shouldn't get any guilt. I mean, I get it. I think it's just hard to put the lineage, like to hold the lineage against her lived experience. Just seems odd to me.
I'm not holding it. I'm saying these are facts, Meryl. This is not a hold. If she, and I told you, let me make this clear one more time, because what you just said. I'm not. I am saying what is facts. Please let me say this one more time for the cheap seats. What is she talking about? This only becomes a conversation because she ain't talking about nothing specific for Black people, which is a failure of a lot of them.
That's true.
If she's talking specifically, I don't care if she's right, blue, green, different. I don't care if she's from the moon. I'm saying what I'm saying, and I'm going into her lineage because those are factors, not because they're anything that just turns me off and I can't believe. I'm saying these things because they're factors. And if we gonna just have,
Can I say something?
Hold on. If we gonna just have somebody that gets selected, then and it just be some type of sensational, symbolic moment, then at the very minimum, even if they ain't talking about nothing, even if at the very minimum, let them be Black American. Let them be ADOS, and they can not talk about nothing, but they at least check that box in the way that it should be checked at this point after 400 plus years here.
But have you thought that the
Barack Obama, same thing.
He's not.
No, but have you thought that the reason that they are selected is that they're as close to white as they can get, yet a semblance of Black? And what you have to understand is too, she didn't volunteer, she was chosen. And anybody in her shoes would have accepted the position.
That's like, you see my face right now. You do realize that so
I can't.
Yeah, so that whole volunteer,
let me tell you,
volunteer versus chosen don't hold up, Marshall.
Any woman who had been selected would have accepted the position. This is America, and you know as well as anybody else that what you look like matters. If you're too dark, it matters. If you're too fat, it matters. And not just with the white people.
We got a fat president now. What you talking about?
I gotta say
because I was thinking Stacey Abrams.
We got a fat president now.
Don't you know the problem with her?
We got a fat president now, Marshall. Hold on. Go ahead, P.
How about Michelle Obama would have been lights out, way better, but like you said,
and she wouldn't have to say nothing. She wouldn't have to say nothing. She wouldn't have to say nothing.
She would be vice president.
Well, that's true, but I just say that because you brought up skin tone. And not only do Black people love Michelle Obama, I think quote unquote Democrats love Michelle Obama. So I mean, just to give slight pushback, but I understand what you're saying. And
he was
I
as
do
close
think
to white as he could get.
I don't think that. Listen, I don't think Val Demings. I think he could have chose Val, but Val, Stacey, Abrams, and Felton, as you recall, you remember I told you that from the jump that I thought it would be her and Joe Biden. This was months ago.
Who, Stacey Abrams?
Yes.
Oh yeah, but she messed up. We talked about this. She messed up.
Yeah,
Bloomberg, man. She went for the money, but she needed that. That's a Black plight. Go ahead.
Every woman on your list, they kind of like they don't have a national profile, and you can lean and say, well, how about Sarah Palin when she came out? We see how that ended up. I just think. Let
me say something to that, and then come back. Hold your thought for 1 second. But, bruh, very critical to that lack of profile. That's to happen later. I mean, the dude who remembers the guy that the Hillary picked, Tim Kaine. Yeah, he didn't have no profile.
He had a national profile. He did.
Bruh, come on, man.
I mean, he was born, but he had a national. Democrats.
Come on, man.
Well,
Come on, man.
All that beside the point, everybody vote. Anything you get is better than what you have.
I don't know. I wouldn't know that it's the same to me. What's different? What have we ever gotten?
But I'm just saying, but you're saying it, okay, and if they put anybody in, she's vice president. We're voting for the president.
Shoot, well, she locked up a lot of brothers over there, and a lot of people in California. For all we know,
Well, they shouldn't have
and
went.
look, then we talking
Why
about one of
would
the
you?
architects.
But why
We talking
would
about
you?
one of the
Why were you
architects.
in
We talking
front
about one of
of
the
her?
architects of the mass incarceration
Why were you
laws.
in front of
So
her?
hold on, we talking about.
Brothers need to stop screwing up.
Oh my gosh, Martian, come on now. I know you better than that.
I'm just saying.
That's
No, what I'm
too easy
telling
now.
you.
Come on,
No,
Marsh.
but
That's
I'm
too
just
easy.
saying.
That's
I'm
too easy,
looking
Marsh.
at people in
Marsh,
Chicago
Marsh,
breaking
come on.
into
Come
buildings
on, Marsh.
because
Come
they
on.
thought
Come on,
somebody
Marsh.
had shot
Controversy.
somebody
Come on, Marsh.
else.
Marsh.
And
Marsh,
it's not
Marsh,
everybody,
Pull
No,
your
but there's
pants
a
up.
few that makes everybody
Pull your
look
pants
bad.
up. Lift yourself up.
Marsh.
If you
sister done,
end
you
up,
done fell off, sister. You fell off.
no,
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
you fell way off.
no.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
Marsh.
let's-
Let's hear a
I'm
response from
speaking from
Doctor.
what I see and what I know. And it might not be in your community or within your circle.
Put your suit on.
Well, that's the danger then, Marsha. If you're speaking from what you know, and I just had this conversation with the doc earlier. If you're speaking subjectively and from what you see, how do you take that to the masses and to a nation? And all you know is what you know. She's got to be more knowledgeable about why. And hold on.
But
Hold
but
on.
do you
Hold
not
on,
think that she's
hold
gonna
on,
follow
hold on.
his
All right, we
protocols,
can't both talk at the
Felton?
same time, Marsh. So the
But you've
why,
been talking for an hour before I got on.
that's the way this works. This is the show that I've been
Well, I'm
selected to.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
just
let me
not on
finish.
the
Don't be
show.
like that. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. So
Got the car.
there's an emphasis on her ability to go outside of what she knows and understand the why. And that's a part of that a lot of these politicians skip over is the why. There's a why to little I don't know what his name is, but the little black boy that you talking about that ends up in front of her, there's a why for that. Now she's in a place and in a position where she can do something about that why. All we can do is hope that she will, because her track record says otherwise.
True.
So that's all I'm saying.
True.
Now, please, let's keep it.
True.
You look
But
nice
You
tonight.
voting for
You look
Joe
nice tonight.
Biden,
How you
or
doing?
you
Vote for
voting
Joe
for
Biden
Trump?
anyway. That's what I
It's
said.
horrible.
You voting for Joe Biden,
I
or
could
you
be
voting
voting
for
down ballot.
Trump? And what
Don't
you
tell
get
me
is
what I got to
you get.
do or what I must do, and I ain't gonna feel no type of way about it because I
Hey,
refuse
if you
the
don't vote
guilt.
for Joe Biden, you ain't black.
My
That's
man.
not so.
My
That's
man.
not so.
That's
My
But
what
I'm
he
man.
just saying.
said.
But you're
That's what
voting
he
for
said.
Joe
Joe
Biden, or
Biden
you
just Joe
voting
Biden
for
said
Trump.
it.
If
Joe
you
Biden
like
said it.
what you got, vote for Trump and keep it.
No. See, that's another misnomer. We've been programmed, and I don't mean this
Well,
as
who
an
else
insult.
you voting
We've been
for?
I can vote down ballot. I can vote for what's in my community. I can vote for what affects me on the most intimate levels. I
And
don't have
Kanye.
to. Our vote shouldn't be just expected. It should be earned. It should be absolutely earned. And they still listen. You want to hear something crazy?
I'm listening.
Marsha, listen. You want to hear something
I'm
real crazy?
listening.
They
I'm
still got
listening.
time to earn my vote. I need them to do that. They got time, but they ain't talking about nothing. They high-fiving and doing little dances. That ain't gonna earn my vote. No, earn my vote. That's all I'm saying. Earn it. Tell me what you're gonna do and let it be about somebody I know.
Okay, so
somebody
if
I know.
Trump wins again,
No, don't make up nothing right now. You ain't gonna. That's gonna be a bad when you get ready to start off on. If you go with it, I'm gonna let you
I'm
finish.
just saying.
It's not gonna be a good look. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Just that was the question. That was the question.
Can I get in this conversation
That
ever?
was the question.
If he does, it won't be because I voted down ballot or not.
True.
Well,
All
you
of
weren't the only
energy,
one voting down ballot.
all of the energy that we place on making us responsible for things that are out of our purview and out of our power, we put a lot of energy on making us responsible. All of that energy needs to be. So I'll say it this way, and I don't know anybody personally that's constantly in my life that voted for Trump, but you know who does? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yep.
They need to be campaigning to those people. Black folks been in the Democratic bag. We ain't got nothing for it. But this is the last time that our being in that bag may mean anything.
Well, I looked at a
They're
session,
looking to get a new contingency.
Black millennials for
Consistency.
Trump on CNN the other night.
I ain't paying them no attention. They don't know that. I ain't worried about them.
Hold up, no. That's first of all, Brother Fucci, you can't say that because let's deal with populations. Right now, the largest population was the baby boomers at 78 million Americans. Presently, the millennials make up the largest voting bloc in the United States because they have surpassed the baby boomers. You cannot discount the millennials. Now, this is the challenge. African Americans are focusing on an emotional vote, and we're not holding, like you said, I agree with you. We have to hold people accountable. Okay. I can speak, I work all across the state. I love the relationship in Reidsville. I think Reidsville should be held up as a statewide example for some of the things that I see them doing there and having the will to do. That Reidsville can teach Raleigh, if you ask me, but what we have to do in our community is, I was on the phone with about 6 HBCU presidents last week. And, we need to spend more time learning and understanding economic law. We know, family law, we know criminal law, but we don't know economic law per se. And so when economic opportunities are presented in our community, we cannot take advantage of those because we have not done our due diligence. So, let me speak to this, and this happens whether it's in Reidsville, Greensboro, or Raleigh. We put in, let's say we put in 20% of the tax base, and we only get 2 cents back. We're 18 cents short. That has nothing to do with our political affiliation. That has everything to do with our willingness to A, ask for our change, and B, hold the people we put in office accountable. Because the politicians that we put in office, I have an issue with us criticizing people we did not vote for. When people we did vote for, we refuse to hold them accountable.
Amen.
So, we have to hold whoever you vote for. Historically, we get I'm being specific. We put African Americans in office year over year over year over year. I can't speak about Reidsville, but I'm a trustee in Raleigh at a fairly large church, and I've been active in my church, and I do work in Reidsville and across the state. But let me be specific. In Raleigh, it is not the Republican conservative that's gentrifying the Black community. It is the white liberal conservative Democrat that are pushing grandmas in many situations and circumstances in the street. Okay? When we look at low-income housing tax credits, affordable housing, they don't give those development projects to African-American developers. I have clients that can bond at $5 million, lights out, who have all of the technical credentials, all of the experience credentials, and they have experienced 20 years building real estate. And if we cannot find real estate and secure the monies that we contribute to the tax base, historically, we have people, not only do you drink up your tax dollars, but then when you finish with your tax dollars, you put your straw in our cup and drink ours all the way down to 2%. And then when we hold you accountable, you get mad.
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you real quick, Doc. Because you making some wonderful points, and you positively are reinforcing earlier points that you made. And I will say this based on our earlier conversation: those examples and things that you just cited and used were definitely better received in terms of what you were. And I don't mean to belittle what you were saying earlier, but what you were trying to get across and communicate earlier. You said it in a much more understanding fashion there, and I appreciate that, because that's the way I needed to hear it to really have it resonate. So with that being said, absolutely. Black folks been financing private schools and public schools that they couldn't even attend forever. They've been getting money from us in a way that's not benefited us. I totally agree with that sentiment. And even when you make it about your particular area and the representatives that have been elected, that's the energy all of us should give the people that ain't doing their jobs, and that are we, as we discussed earlier and as I established, are just becoming legacy politicians and just loving the power and the ability that they have, and they pass it on to their people and their kids.
Let me give you another example.
Don't do it. No, hold up. I'm gonna just pause you for a minute, because Marsha's on the line for a minute. We've been missing the presence of a woman, and I wanted to definitely hear more from her.
Talk about workforce development.
Well,
okay.
I want to hear whatever she got to say, and I definitely wanted to keep it more about.
No, I'm cool.
Marsha.
No, it's just,
come on
it's
now.
just that.
Come on now.
I think I'm in another place.
Talk about your place now. That's why you're here. I want to hear you.
And it's because politics doesn't really care about people. It's not about people. It's about power. And like you say, well, sometimes I know everybody ran when Obama ran. You voted for him because he was Black, and we figured things would get better or look better. But there were so many layers of that, just like this, you know. And I just think, I guess where I am now, it's like she might not be Black for real, you know. But at the same time, there's so many other things that are on the line that if somebody with some sense does not take over, America will not look like the America that we have known, you know, and which could be good, we could be Russian. Hell, I don't know. But I think for Black people to expect for you to vote for them just because they're Black is crazy. And to have somebody who actually wants to make a difference or to do something, and that's just it. Biden, anybody, we've never had a true Black anything, like you say. So where are they? Where is anybody that, because it's not even up to us. You know, it's not up to us. If it was up to us, okay, we put somebody in office, but then there's so many layers to everything, and we are not in charge. Will we ever be? I don't know. But it's just that the way we go at each other, do we go at other folks like this? You know, the way we go at each other, okay, may not have been your selection. Wasn't my selection. But it was his selection, and I'm sure it was definitely a political move. Because as soon as he selected her, $26 million was raised. It's about the power. It's about what Doc say. It's about the money.
So
you know, and I guess my thing is, and I guess I can sit and just roll with the punches, which is what Black people have had to do all of our lives.
But before you don't leave this train of thought, I wanted to just interject. So with that being understood, that this is largely a power move, as you've established, a political ploy, political posturing. This is where I'm not badgering anybody. I'm not running to the high heels saying don't do this or do that. I'm receiving a lot of that. There's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake, or they would have you believe there's a lot at stake in any election year. This is no different than any other one that's been previous in the what's at stake. Yeah, we got COVID, which is crazy, but I say all that to say there's nothing wrong with having a discussion and having thoughts and things that need to be espoused, formulated, and shared without judgment. And I'm not judging nobody on this line about their political leanings and feelings, and I expect the same in return. That's all I'm saying.
I'm cool with that.
Amen.
But I just it's just the whole thing has just been wild, you know. Oh, yeah. And I just say we've had white presidents, white vice presidents, white women who run, and she's and I did when he selected her. It's like, okay, that's as close as white to white as he could get. You know, that was as close to white as
Susan
he could
Rice.
Get,
what about Susan Rice?
Feel that he was slightly safe.
What about Susan Rice, though? I don't know.
You know what? I think the thing that probably got him was the fact that she had fire. Yeah,
she got some. You know, and don't take this the wrong way in our overly sensitive world that we live in now, but she's got that sassiness that gives her some credibility. I love to watch her on the Senate. I love when she be talking, getting them folks to understand. Stay there. You're good there. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm kind of scared of what she would do on the Supreme Court. But I love her. I love the way she's able to stand up there and talk truth to power when it's in the Senate. But I don't know what we get coming up. I really don't. Besides a pat on the head and look at me, don't I look like you? I don't know. All we can do is wait.
But like I say, that was his best bet.
Yep.
If he had, and I don't care what you say, if he had selected some darker or because.
Well, I don't.
She's already in that community. She's in that neighborhood. She's connected to Doug. She got the white step kids.
Smart.
You
But
know,
this is the thing about what you're saying. The thing that makes her that much more selectable, and basically based on what you're saying, look how much that minimizes us. Look how much that just takes us for granted. If that's what makes her more electable,
just put her up next to Pence.
well, she may, and I definitely have no idea what that what that damn debate's gonna look like.
I'm just saying.
I would give her a lot of props for her ability to engage on that level.
They
I
won't
give
let
her props for that.
They won't let Pence debate her. They won't let that.
But she failed miserably in the primaries. It seemed like she got tired real quick, and you got to have a little bit more energy than what she seemed like she had sometimes in those debates. So we'll see.
She ran out of money.
She did.
And so why do you run out of money? People stop believing in you, man. They stop investing in you.
Buttigieg got hot. Klobuchar had tons of money. Buttigieg got hot. Biden decided to step in. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. If Biden never steps in, who knows how it changes?
Hold on. Are we just gonna overlook? I'm sorry. We just gonna skip over the part where Biden had to be rescued because Klobuchar and Buttigieg was willing to step out of the race just to give him their heat and thunder?
Democrats set that up. You do realize that.
I totally realize it. I'm speaking on it because it is a realization. Yeah. It's sad. It's a sad one too. It's a sad one too. It's a sad one too. Yeah, it's a sad realization.
They were just waiting for him to make his mind up, and once he made his mind up, they said, "Oh, we'll fix this, and we'll get them to drop out, and you will run."
I don't know what they were waiting on in terms of him making his mind up. What seemingly took place is that he was the most stat quo that was left. He was the least progressive.
He's a white guy. He was the most
white folks work together. They were at the country club on Sunday. They work together.
Yeah, they argue and you're right. They argue in front of everybody and act like they hate each other. And then they go hang out. Then they go hang out together.
Yeah.
Go cut cigars and smoke them on the golf course.
And they were like, they thought they could win. I mean, I think they thought like Elizabeth Warren could win, and they were like, she can't win.
Well, we don't, and let me say that I don't mean
Bernie
as a racial.
Like we gotta get rid of him.
I don't mean that as a racialized statement. It's pure conjecture.
What'd you say?
Talking about we talked about the white people go and hang out after they argue in front of everybody, and they don't really have their leanings are not too far apart. So
true.
That's
it is, Jay, and you meant that in a racialized statement.
I did. There's
and
clarity
the one that they hate, they would do more for than you.
Yeah.
Because that's them.
They're socialized to disagree and have like discussion and have different thoughts. We're the ones that, we all have to walk in lockstep and have the same thing.
We get in our feelings, man.
Yeah, we get in our feelings. They don't.
Yeah.
They know it's about business.
Because that goes to my earlier point. Marsha, I'm not in my feelings. I mean,
wait a minute. After we hang up, I'm calling you.
You should. Then I might get in my feelings. I might get in my feelings then.
Might be your feelings.
I'm calling you.
I might get in my feelings with you
care.
outside of here. I might be like, no. I might cry a little bit.
So I can share some stuff. I'm gonna call you
all the time. You can share. I'm here to be shared too.
I'm alone, boy.
Portia, we winding down. We've been at it with minimal participation. We wanted more. I had plenty to discuss. I wish you was there for it like everybody else. But
hey, I had to work, Felton.
Oh yeah, I know.
I got a grant today. I had to work.
It was good stuff from what I saw.
It was great. I tried to listen in bits and pieces when I could.
Did you record it, Portia?
I did. Okay. We're gonna get it. We'll get it out there.
All right. Okay. So before we do the whole departure thing, Portia, is there anything you wanted to share? The topic was supposed to be Biden's selection of Kamala Harris as his VP, and what that means. And I'm glad you made it. So I'll try to frame this the way I did for Marsha. What that means in terms of Black American women that have been here from a lineage standpoint, ADOS standpoint for centuries. Celebrating someone that is really not them. She's a first generation immigrant. And there's a whole lot of energy being placed behind her in some form of symbolic support, in my opinion. Whereas there's also a lot of guilting being done to those that question it. Those that challenge it or have questions are being pushed to the margins and argued against in a way that I'm just like, amazed by that nobody wants to have a conversation. I think it's just about one thing, and it's all about getting the current guy out of there.
That's all it's about.
My vote holds value, doesn't it? It's not just to be expected, it is to be earned. So with all that in mind, Portia, knowing that you have a grandmother that probably worked in the servitude of white Americans, and Camilla has none of that in her lineage, yet she leapfrogs so many. And if her morality was in a place, if her integrity was in a place, in my opinion, if her principles were in a place, she would have backed out and propped up one of those other African-American females, Black American females. And that whole sentence, they don't have to say nothing specific about Black people. That would have been the clearest box check, because Black Americans, African-American, we have yet to ascend to those highest offices in this land. And
well, you know, for me, Felton, oh, look, you on a roll. You are
I'm stopping. I'm about to stop.
Tonight. You are on a roll tonight.
I was wrapping it up. Go ahead, come with. Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay, for me, it would not have been my first choice. Okay. But she is the only choice because she fits the mold. She fits it. That's it, perfectly. She walks the walk. She can talk the talk. She's that light skin.
Amen. Skin, there you go.
Hair, sister, brother, woman, whatever.
There you go.
Come out there and she can she can talk to the doctors, lawyers, and Indian chiefs, and she can get in the street and do the motorcycle with the girls and the guys.
There you go.
Ain't that sad?
You know, and that's it. And the bottom line, I have to stay focused on what the goal is. Okay. In order to look at who she is and be accepting of that. But also, we're expecting her, because we look at her as a Black American female, she's not. Her culture is totally different from ours.
Yeah.
Totally. So she's not Black American, and she can't identify with what our struggle is, no matter how long she's been here. She has culture behind her. We're Black Americans and African descendants of slaves, and we don't even have a land that we lost it all.
To. I think we had 15 million acres after the Civil War.
Well, you know, that's reparations is another conversation.
Oh no! I mean, that's like you said, we're landless people. We've lost it.
Yeah, we're landless people. We don't have any place that we can identify. Yeah. You know, they call us African Americans, but everybody's an African related something. You know, we came from the cradle of civilization. But as far as Camilla is concerned, I was asked today to if I would be willing to write a 400, 500 word statement about how I felt to have an African-American female be selected as a vice presidential candidate. I have not yet responded.
Interesting. Somebody wants your opinion and they want you to prop up something that you have questions about. And I guarantee you, if you respond to that with those questions that you have about propping up someone that you just communicated you don't really identify with in terms of lineage and culture, there would be a bit of flack behind that. Why can't you just embrace what's been picked for you?
I'd lose my Black card.
Okay, but here you go. My thing is this.
All right, doctor.
Okay, going back to accountability. This is the thing. And and before Portia, I'm glad you're here. Marsha, I really appreciate some of the things I heard you say too. And Felton,
but Portia just nailed it.
Yes, she did. Felton, maybe it was the presence of the sisters that gave me the balance I needed, so I could deliver it to you the way you got it. But I'm going to go back to accountability, as I said before the sisters came online. My challenge is that we as African American people, if we are not willing to hold our community and our politicians and the people we voted for accountable, okay, then what moral footing do we have to hold somebody else accountable, that we didn't vote for? Now, let me back off of that for a second and just say this one thing. When you look at the 1994 crime bill, which was atrocious, you can't get that back, okay? And some mistakes that we made are not redeemable, in my opinion. Okay, it becomes a lesson learned. So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Kamala Harris, I got family in California. There's not a lot of Black love for Kamala Harris in California because they look at her as the new version of the crime bill in the way she jailed and incarcerated African Americans without a conscience. And she boldly did it. Okay? Boldly. So, you know, I have a challenge with looking at now, we know people like y'all in Louisiana. That young man stole some hedge clippers when he was less than 20, okay? Because of the 3-strike rule, those Superior Court judges in Louisiana said that this young man, under 20, who stole something, who already served 20 years, could not appeal his sentence and have to stay in jail for the rest of his natural born life. Now, this is what I want to say. In Raleigh, I remember a Sheriff, John Baker, who was the sheriff in Wake County, Raleigh, North Carolina. He said that Bill Clinton and Jesse Helms were strange bedfellows. See, I grew up as the son of a civil rights photographer, okay? So he said that, and I didn't understand why. He said because when they passed the crime bill, they took out the ability to get Black men and women who were in jail a GED to get an education. Shaw University, St. Augustine's, just in Raleigh and Central, used to get money to give people while they were incarcerated education as a solution to recidivism. So when they got out, they would not return to jail. Now, whether we like it or not, and I'm not talking about personality, I'm talking about facts on the ground. I have been on the North Carolina Workforce Development Board for about 4 years for the state with the community college system structure. I've worked with workforce opportunity tax credit. And let me say this last thing. We have seen more felons and more disheartened people getting workforce development money and not going back to prison and learning from the trades and going to school than they are getting credit for. And that did not, I voted for President Obama, but it didn't happen then. And I'm not saying he couldn't do it. What I'm simply saying is that the First Step Act and the Second Chance Act and some of the things that have been passed, I was, Portia, I was on a Twitter battle with about 7 African, because you know, North Carolina A&T State University was a client of mine when Dr. Fort was there. Dr. Harold Martin was the Dean of Engineering, and Beverly Mahone was the Dean of Nursing, and Dr. Craig was the Dean of Business. But what I'm saying is that when we look at the historic Black colleges and universities revitalization ecosystem, which is a $2.5 billion set aside exclusively for HBCU, and the type of grant it is not a formula grant. It's a grant that presents you with a Lego play box, and you have to look at the needs of the community and assemble the Legos in such a way that you submit a grant to get funded. And when I hear our presidents at the collegiate level ignoring, money is not Democrat nor Republican. Yeah. You know, and so when I sit back and look at these criticisms, I have to ask myself, the first question is, are we beginning and ending with the man in the mirror? And are we willing to help to hold ourselves, our community, and the people we vote for accountable before looking forward? And so when we pick a Kamala Harris or a Biden or whoever, you know, Biden was a co-author of the 1994 crime bill.
We didn't pick them. That's part of the problem, dog. Like we didn't pick them. So that's a part of the problem.
Right. So when you flip it and you move to a solution base and you say, based on the lessons learned, how do we move from reactive to proactive? Well,
that's the American way, though. That's the American way. America loves to be reactive.
Yeah, but we can, as our community, being reactive has not got us anywhere.
We haven't been a lot of things because we're not represented. That's the whole conversation we keep going. We keep circling back to that. We're not represented on the levels that that's a lot of
So
a
then
large
we
part
need
of
to
your
do it
sentiment.
ourselves,
Your
sir.
sentiment is
We
well
need to be
received. I understand
self-employed,
what you're saying, but
and
we're
we need to
not
do the
represented
government.
on the level that you seem to think that we can just have this magnanimous change. It's not possible the way that you perceive it to be. It is something we need to be focused on and something we need to be trying to do, but it's not possible the way you seem to think it is. But now it may be in the area that you've been talking about, which we already established. What you're talking about is something that's what you see and what you're able to affect. Got you. But on a grand scale, the sentiment's good, but just effectually, it's gonna take more than just holding people accountable. They don't have to be. There's a whole lot of circles, bridges, roadblocks, and things to
Right.
get through
That's why we
before
need
you're able
more
to do that.
advocacy, Mr. Merrill, Mr. Holloway. This
Feel
is
you.
why we need advocacy.
I hear
My
you.
man,
Because
I
education
salute that.
without
Yeah,
advocacy is a lost cause.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. All right.
It's
Listen.
organized first, though. Just a clear point. The organization is first, then the advocacy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, and well, hey, absolutely, education somewhere in there too. Like, 'cause
Education in that. But
yeah,
we are people that we buy what we need. Wait a minute, we buy what we want, but we beg for what we need.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good
Lord
note to
have
end
mercy.
on.
Lord
We
have
are way over time. I know
That was a
Steph-
bar right there, fellas.
I'm sorry.
I said that was a bar that she just said.
That was a bar. My
Hey,
man. She got bars. But look, we winding down. Steph, I know you just joined in. There's too much to go back over and recap. The one of the main points of conversation was well, we tried to make a main point later on was just Biden selecting Kamala Harris as his running mate. You can have a minute or two to share some thoughts if you like, but I know I didn't know you were gonna jump in after the text, but yeah, we've been at it for almost 2 hours, it seemed like. So if you got something you want to share, I'm here for it, man. If you're just listening, overstood, it'll replay on YouTube some kind of way.
Yeah, I'm gonna check y'all the video out later on and get the recap, but I don't want to beat a dead horse and say nothing now that probably was already said.
Well, you didn't say it though, so I'm giving you a minute or two. Giving you a minute or two if you want.
I'm so what was the main point of discussion with
it like there was just a broad what your thoughts were about it, and for the women that joined us, my framing of it was centered around the fact that their lineage, their grandmothers that were African American in terms of Black American, in terms of ADOS American, women who lived the Black experience from a lineage and legacy standpoint, seemingly being leapfrogged for the symbolism of someone that looks like them but has none of their experience. This is a first generation immigrant who could potentially ascend to the vice presidency, and we've never had, as African American Black people, Black Americans, had that level of representation. We've never had it in this land, yet we've been here for 400 some years. So I was asking them how they felt about it. And we've just been talking around it, and the Dr. Nubes, he shared some interesting things about his neck of the woods and about representation and holding leaders accountable. So if you want to have a hot take on that, that's what we would have been discussing. But other than that, it's just been a general, and it became a wonderful discussion after we got a little bit more participation. So you might add to that.
I think historically this is kind of how it plays out. And you kind of jump into the realm of what's black and black, you know. And I think the main gripe from what I'm hearing from some people is that she's not African American, even though she is from the diaspora and of African descent. I get those things. I understand those things. I would like for there to be an African American woman in that position, but there's not. And right now, I know a lot of people choose to not look at the path of you're voting for the lesser of two evils. Nobody's going to be perfect. She's definitely not perfect. I have my pros and cons when it comes to her, but I have more pros than cons. So that's what I make my decisions on in life with everything. I put everything on a scale, you know. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You don't go into any perfect situation. So right now, she has my vote. You know, I can't be mad at her for what she is. She didn't choose to be whatever it is that she is. She was a soul that was put into a human body, and she picked her path in life, which was to go into politics, you know. But where she came from, she had no control over. So right now, her job is to represent me as an American and my interests. So as I vote for her, I would hope that other people as well as myself would pressure her to meet the needs that we have as an African American people. You know, whether or not she is African American, if she's getting in based on the fact that she is the quote unquote symbolic person who embodies that Africanism, then okay, you have my vote. Now have my interest at your heart. That's what
And that is primarily where my train of thought intersects with yours in terms of what are you talking about, and that's pretty much where we can definitely wind it down. Will said, thank you for the contribution. But what I'm saying inside of everything, and this is where I think we're in agreement, I don't care what her lineage is what you're talking about. But when we're discussing her, honest discussion requires that her lineage is spoken of. Now, if she's talking about Black issues, which she's not, in terms of repair for the Black community, I'm here for it. Black, white, blue, green. I've said it a million times. I don't care. If you're speaking specifics, I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. But when there's this just notion of symbolism and, hey, you know, she looks like you, I'm not here for that. So that's my main gripe and concern out of any politician. And, you know,
can we give her a chance though? See, the thing is,
hold on. She had a chance. She had a chance.
Well, she just got the job.
I know, bro. Yeah, I'm wrong about that one.
No. I mean, she had her chance. She's been had her chance to say something specific to the Black community. That's how I mean it. I'm sorry if that was misconstrued. How many chances do you need?
Right.
No, she got the job yesterday. She just got the job yesterday.
Listen, man. Have y'all ever heard that now can be too late? So I'm not crystallizing her. Listen to what I said. Listen to what I said. What did I say to Marsha earlier? They still have the opportunity and chance to earn someone like me my vote. They have the opportunity and chance. Earn it. Don't expect
earn it.
You will earn it. They expect it. Earn it.
That's right. They won't. It's earn it. And you're absolutely right, because you know, whether you Democrat or Republican, don't take our vote for granted. And Felton, I want to salute you for something that you were dead on, because when we look at the numbers, the expectation is that the Hispanic community will surpass us in numbers as a voting bloc in the next election. You know, so you are spot on when you're saying that some decisions that we have to be mindful of, you know.
This could be our last hurrah.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think we, through private industry and through the organizations that we own and manage, that we need to take a more proactive stance without, you know, government leading it, to rectify some of the ills socially and economically in our community. We need to be more proactive.
I don't disagree with you, Doc, and that's a bigger, broader conversation, but the infrastructure has to be in place to sustain those things. Otherwise, they get swallowed up. And that's one of the conversations me and Merrill were having when it comes to desegregation. There wasn't infrastructure because the Black dollar didn't leave the Black community. But what happens is desegregation, and I don't blame, it was going to happen anyway. The dollar was going to leave the Black community at some point, just like the taxes always did. The dollar was going to eventually leave it. But the infrastructure has to be in place to maintain any ideas, and that infrastructure is required to be built and maintained by proper governance. It's meant to be there in proper governance. Okay.
Define infrastructure from your perspective, because
we ain't got time. I'm just speaking about anything that you're talking about as far as an idea from what you said, industry maintaining something or bringing something to bear that looks out for the citizens in some way, shape, or form, has to be maintained by some infrastructure that is inclusive of the government. The government's there to collect taxes. The government's there to come and say, hey, you're doing this right or you're doing this wrong. The government's there to enforce laws. You can't do anything absent that infrastructure. They have to be a part of it. And look, I'm not trying to dead it there. I hope that was clear. we winded down. We've winded up and winded down 3-4 times throughout this thing. I greatly appreciate all for attending that made it tonight. I do have nothing but love for all the people of this world, all of them. So I'm glad y'all could make it. Glad y'all could share your thoughts on the matters that we spoke on. Meryl, thanks for providing this space and this place.
This was dope.
Thank you all. So let's wrap it up.
Be here for all of it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna end this on a serious note.
Go ahead, Portia.
When I heard Curtis Mayfield in the background and they were playing Move On Up, I knew then that I was gonna have to scratch my head.
Move on up.
Yes. Did you hear when him and Kamala came out?
Symbolism
They
over
were playing.
substance.
They were playing Curtis Mayfield's "Move On Up."
Symbolism over substance was one of the titles I wanted to go with for tonight's broadcast. So I can keep that in my pocket. But symbolism over substance is something that Black folks have been trying to vomit out for a long time, and some of us just like the taste of it so much we want more and more and more. So
okay, hey, Black child, don't you fret.
Absolutely. Move on up. Hey, look, y'all take care. Salute. Meryl, Portia, if you want to hang around for a moment, we can, but there won't be but a moment. I'm running on E. My bandwidth is running low, as Meryl would say. So, hey, man, thank you all for showing up. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Feldman,
night,
I'm making you a
everybody.
peach pie.
I'm gonna call you.
Okay, bye.
Because you got an hour on us. All right, y'all be good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
You can cut the YouTube.
Oh yeah.